Now then, let's check that out. And we shall soon find out if that worked.
We're live.
Just hit the button. Are we live?
We are
Lovely
live.
darts. Lovely darts, my son.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, yep.
So is this, are we starting our 26 hour now? Is this
7 hours and 37 minutes? Have you actually heard from Jake today?
I have been in texting conversation with him. He was up right because he ended his 24 or 26 hours at night time, his time, Australia. So he just went right to bed and then got back up. So he
started it. What did he start, like early evening?
So I think he started like maybe he started like 8 p.m. Australia time and went until 9 p.m. Australia time the next day.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Brutal. So is he up now? And now it'll be 7 o'clock-ish, 6 o'clock-ish, something like that?
I don't know. I can never remember because everybody changes time zones now, or everybody changes the kickback, like the fallback, spring ahead, the time change. Everybody has that at different times. So
can I just say, what's different about your background, John?
Is there anything different?
Have you changed the background since you were last on here? Is it like
I don't think so. I might have changed the lighting around a little bit, possibly. I was moving some stuff around in here, but
looks pretty good. Have you lost weight again? Also, you're looking quite lean, or is it the beard growth?
I've started. Just in the last week, I've kind of started. I've been at like 220, 225, and I want to get back to like 210, 215. I think is a little bit more of a happy place for me. So I've just started since I got back from Toronto, which we haven't talked about either, which was the East versus West qualifier.
We can get onto that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent 2 days with Evan and filled myself with a lot of alcohol. And then I came home and I was like, okay, let's calm down now. Let's get back in the swing of things. And so we're on the path.
So just a quick one on that as well. I believe Evan has given himself a hernia somehow.
So he had hernia surgery yesterday or 2 days ago.
He's good though, yeah?
So I messaged him after he had it and he was like, yep, that was pretty bad, but it sounds like he's on the mend.
Good stuff. Hopefully Evan's all right. Just another bit of note. I read a post by Engin Terzi today that Gary Ray has died. That hit me.
I'm not so sure I'm super familiar with Gary Ray.
Gary Ray, all-time puller, mate.
Yeah. Where is he from?
Very US. Very prominent, very prominent puller back in the day. And I was really sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. I used to see Gary at Worlds very regularly, and also when I was over in the US.
Are we talking like mid-late 90s-ish era?
Yes, yeah. And before that. And before that, Gary was pulling. He was that guy who'd always been there. You know what I mean? When I came into the game, he was. I started. I think it was 86. Really getting involved, and Gary was already around the scene at that time, really, and was just a fixture. Yeah.
What was his? Who were the guys he was pulling? What was his weight class?
He varied. He went up in weight, obviously, as he got older. But when I knew him, he was probably around the 242, 220 to 242 range. Went bigger. But Gary was always just obsessed with the game. Involved with a lot of guys and people. A lot of the arm wrestlers you would speak to when you'd go to World would say, "Oh, I train with Gary Ray," and I'm like, "Oh, lovely lad, just obsessed with the game." And it's a great shame when you read that. It's like when Jim Bryant died, the same situation. When you just hear him, you're like, oh, mate.
Yeah.
It's a real sickener. I haven't heard from Gary for a long period of time. And my sincere condolences to all his friends and family. Really, really sad to hear of Gary's passing. Great shame. It really was. So, guys, on that somber note, welcome to the Fix, show 148. It is I mean, show 148. What the?
This is like Wish edition of the fix. You want the fix, and then you get Uncle John as the only guest. Oh,
hey,
terrible.
Dude.
Terrible.
Not
180.
terrible at all. Good dude. Absolutely good. You know what it is though? If we're joking aside, if Jake does pop up tonight at some point, which he does, I might send him over a link as well. I'd like to just hear how completely destroyed he is.
I know he'll be going live right after we're done. So I'm sure he'll be up and about.
Is he? He's gonna go live again.
In 2 hours, he's scheduled to go live talking about the potential opponents for Devon Larratt at Dark Card in the battle.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right. A lot of rumors flying.
Yeah. Well, was it Jake's show was on, and somebody said, Devon's done a thing on it. He's put a thing out. I hadn't actually seen it at that time, although I did speak to Dev on the phone, and we had a very brief conversation due to the fact that I was actually I went on to Jake's show, and then Dev rang. I missed it. Rang him back, and I had a 2-minute conversation, and then went back on Jake's show. He is. He's on. He's only on
already.
He's in. He's in. I'm gonna send you the link, mate, because I've got to find out how completely wrecked you are. And if you are, don't think you need to come in. That's all. I've just had a message there from Devon saying busy as. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just let me find Jake and send this puppy dog over. Yeah. But I rang Dev up and we had a chat on that, just basically around what was going to go down and timings more than anything else.
Right.
One of the big things with it is trying to get the timings right and when it works, because Devon is running around like an absolute bell end.
Oh, he's
it's very difficult to find any month or any time when it's viable for him, John.
It's a great problem for him to have, right? He's so in demand that he can do, and it's just all sorts of different stuff that, like, I talked to him this past weekend, and it just sounds like he's having an incredible time, is what it sounds like he's having.
Well, you were pulling with him, weren't you, at the East versus West qualifier over there?
Well, I sparred with him verbally, is what I did. So, there's a lot of things that a lot of people can do to help Devon train. My hand is not necessarily as good as my mouth is. So I verbally sparred with Devon and tried to get him in good enough shape to be talking back with Gennady. I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, they're really revving it up. Talking to guys that are on East versus West, it's only the White Oak in the mother fluffing house.
What's up, guys?
Paul, now then, big balls. I'll go with it.
Good. Just back from New York.
Another man who's busy as Todd and Oleg's love child has just come in with a quick super chat. He's put, Neil, we need to be. Oh, hang on a minute. I lost it there. Neil, we need you to be the bridge that brings John and Engin together. John is my 4th favorite Canadian. Only 4th.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, there's only like 6 Canadians. So that's in the country. That's almost top 50%.
White Wolves come firing in with a super chat. Thanks again for your super chats, lads. He's put, just getting this super chat out of the way early. What's up, Neil and UJ? Who else have you got coming in today? Not Jake. Hey, I've sent him a message. I hope he doesn't feel like he needs to come on because the poor bastard will be absolutely destroyed. But I just wanted to know how destroyed. But like I say, Jake, don't feel like you need to come on, mate, because I know obviously got a young family and that there. So by all means, if you got to skip it. And John's just told me you're planning on going live. No case. Absolute freak. How did he do that? But Paul Lynn, how's life in the fast lane, son?
Good, man. Busy as always. Good things though. We finished
it's closing in now, isn't it? It's closing in.
Yep. We just did our qualifier up in Utica, New York for East versus West. Got that out of the way. Good turnout. Had Canadian guys there.
Really
nice. Good. Yep.
How'd that go? How was that? Was it well attended?
Yes. Like overall number, we had a lot of pros. So like the normal numbers weren't like, the tons and droves of amateurs that we normally get, but the pro classes were all loaded. Some of the best guys from the region came out. We had some guys traveling from other states, who might have missed other qualifiers. So yeah, it was really good. Ran really smooth, no injuries. Very quick tournament for the amount of entries we had. I think we had like mid 200s. So yeah, it was good stuff.
I'm very interested to see. Sorry, John. Go on, mate.
Who were the Canadians? Do you remember?
Yannick.
Oh, Yannick. Yeah.
Dudes that came down with him. I can't think of the one dude. You guys all know him. Neil, you said he's a kid. Why can't I think of his name? I know him. He trains with Devon. Heavy set dude's been pulling forever.
Jeff. Ian Carnegie.
Yeah, no, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Slater.
Yeah, Jeff's a beast. Jeff is one of those dudes. I knew exactly who you meant because of our conversations previously. Jeff's one of those dudes who is constantly under the radar. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nobody and you see Jeff, and with all due respect to Jeff, I love Jeff. With all due respect to Jeff, he doesn't look like the guy that's going to rip your head off.
Unassuming.
Yeah, you look at him and you think, doable. Jeff, bust your fucking ass.
Yeah.
How
did he do lefty?
I am not sure how he finished left because I was stuck. I was reffing the other table.
I see.
I have to review the results. I know a few of the pro winners that I stopped my table to watch, but I'm not sure. I know Nick Stone won that class right-handed.
Yeah, Nick Stone's real tough.
Yep.
Nick Stone. I don't know Nick Stone.
He trains with Klemba and Bresman's old team.
I do not know that kid.
Big power lifter.
Look him up. He's got a channel.
Yeah, recently he's been winning every super heavyweight event that he attends in the Northeast. Beating the guys like Latimer and Paul Cruz and all them guys. He's running through them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Jake Ward's just joining.
Hey.
Let Jake in. Did that work then? I did try and allow Jake in then. Why is he not popping up? There you go. There you go. So there you go. So there's been an immoral amount of lives this weekend, I noticed. I think earlier on today, Engin was on. Come on, Jake Ward, you fucking animal.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey.
Coming in with the energy.
Mate.
Back for more.
Absolutely. I'm a sucker for it. This is my kind of cocaine. Live streams, arm wrestling.
Listen. If you really do feel like death on a stick, mate, don't push it too hard.
No, mate, not at all. Not at all. As true as I'm sitting here, when it was wrapping up and we got to the 25 hours, and I'll let John jump on at the end. Thanks for jumping on, Paul, by the way, jerk. That's Nah, you're all right, man. You're all right. I genuinely believe, not just saying it for clicks or anything, I genuinely believe I could have at least gone another 12 hours. Not a problem.
Jesus Christ, mate. You can have that.
Beast.
Yeah, when I very rarely dropped under 100 people for the whole time.
That's good,
I reckon 30 of them went. I reckon 30 of them almost went the whole 25 hours with me.
Really?
They fell asleep. Oh yeah. People were like Phil Woody.
Oh, what a legend!
The day off work.
What's a nutter?
Hey, by the way, we got to see Spermie's ass is creamy for real. We saw him in real life.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal.
And did you guys see any of the stuff from Crazy Uncle Jim?
I believe the first time I came on, I think Crazy Uncle Jim was on there. Because I've not met Jim before. And he was on.
No one has.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Apologies, I didn't know. But yeah, I came on there, but Jim was on. But like a dick, I did all the talking and Jim didn't get to speak much. And then I buggered off. And I'm assuming that Jim lit it up a bit.
Jim is like, Dennis. What's a big deal about Dennis?
Oh, that was the best. We were sitting there talking and it's like when you first get in the sports, like, oh my God, like I'm talking to Paul Lynn, I'm talking to Uncle John and Neil Pickup. He was having that and his nerves were getting the better of him. And then he was like, Ozzy, you know what I hate, man? I hate hanger, and he'd have like 9 conversations going on in his head, then proceeded to absolutely decimate Levan, decimate Dennis Saplenkov, because they were only champions for 5 years. He wanted the more natural John and Rons for the 20 years. And
so he was going for the longevity angle, was he?
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was such a good dude. And then I asked the question. I went around the panel, Neil and John and I, Derek Smith, and we were literally tears streaming down our face. And I was like, John, where do you think Monster Michael Todd will rank coming back from his bicep injury? And you know, John knows how to run a podcast. Oh, you know, I think this. And then I thought, oh, yeah, Crazy Uncle Jim, tell me. And he proceeded to go on a 15-minute dunkathon of how he does not like Monster Michael Todd. And literally, but he had the same 3 or 4 things, and he was in this horrible circular vortex.
Definitely.
That just kept triggering his memory, because he'd say point 1, he'd go to point 2, go to point 3, but then point 3 reminds him of point 1, and he was saying the same thing.
Oh, man.
And he just went, and it was hilarious. Him and another guy named Dung were probably the MVPs of the stream.
Yeah. Oh, it's good that many people stayed on with you, mate, for that long. I mean, bloody hell, that is a serious innings. If they've stayed on for the full time, every credit to them. I mean, we as you know, we only get people on the show that agree with us. Anybody else can cough.
Yeah,
that's how we roll. So we don't get too many differences opinions on. But we do have Paul Lynn on, who's the nicest guy in the world.
There you go.
That's what you get here.
Actually, this is what the 25-hour podcast does. I heard a story about Paul Lynn getting angry.
Oh, what was it? What was leaked?
A rare Paul Lynn story. I think it was at Winter Blast.
Yeah,
and all the pros were complaining that there were too many amateurs, and you're about to drop the hammer, and you're telling the 98% do an amateur only tournament next time, and you were getting frustrating.
No, I don't like it. I don't like that. And I'll be vocal about that. I mean, the amateurs and the new guys are the lifeblood of our sport.
Yeah, they
are. Like, you come to an awesome tournament like Winter Blast with 500 entries, and I'm up there fighting with these guys for 7 straight hours trying to set them up. And then at the end of the day, one person's upset because there were too many amateurs and they got to wait too long. I'm like, come on, man, you were an amateur last year, bro. What are we talking about right now? This is the 98% concept. Get with the program. Let's have an amateurs only tournament and don't allow anybody.
Am I making this up, or didn't Winter Blast get like something stupid, like 400 odd entries or something? Massive.
500.
500 entries.
Yeah, there was like 30 some in AM classes and stuff. So like it was awesome. It was super awesome. Mega. And it's a long day, but I mean, like when you still get it done by like 10 o'clock, we knocked it out of the park. But like you can't say like you can't be like that was terrible because there were so many amateurs. No, let's have amateurs only.
Let's be honest, mate. It's going to get worse. I mean, the growth of the sport now, it's going to get worse. You know?
Yeah, it's cool. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Yeah. And that's what that was my suggestion.
People are going to have to just use more tables.
Yeah. Well, or 2-day events or like dual venues. I mean, but we're going to have to roll with those punches because even when you see the numbers that say on Facebook that they're going to come, like 250 or there was 220 that said they were going to come. Well, you don't know how many entries you're going to get from that because these crazy guys are pulling every class. So I'm all about that stuff.
That's the other angle though, isn't it, Paul? You could get to a situation, mate, where, you just have to limit people to a class.
Sure. Or you get ahead of it and say, all right, we are doing these classes on Saturday and these classes on Sunday. We're getting numbers that are surpassing what the old nationals used to do on a 2-day event. And we are making it happen in 1 day. So like, to me, it's phenomenal. I think it's because these guys, and we've added that semi-pro class in there to allow for these guys to have a more natural progression up. And we do limit, you can't you can't pull amateur, semi, and pro. So if you pull semi, you can only pull up one.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull as many weight classes as you so choose. But these guys are crazy. They'll come in and say, you know what? I'm going to pull 30 matches today. You know?
Yeah.
And
We only pull one division in Australia. You can only
Yeah.
pull one division in Australia. I think just because we don't have enough refs. So that's
what is a big gig in Oz?
If we can get 50 athletes, 50, 60 athletes, then we're like, wow, good, massive. Because we've got little pockets of Australia, but not enough arm wrestlers. So like, we just had our state championships in March, but then you'll have to fly 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to go to the next state championships. We don't have like 8 clubs in Victoria. We've only got the one club. And people drive like 3 hours, 4 hours to come train. So, but then when we've only got 2, and then we've only got 2 or 3 referees, and we're running 6, 7 hours, because we can only run one table. That's where our growing pains need to go. We need more referees.
It's a huge continent too. Huge, very spread out continent.
That's what I mean. Yeah, not many clubs. And then to go to the next club, you got to get on a plane and fly somewhere. But that costs money, and let's face it, if you're an arm wrestler, you haven't got much money.
Has anybody come up with the concept of the Danny Tesh Classic? Because if that isn't happening, I feel like we should come over.
Immediate double entry. Immediate double entry.
I have never, ever offered money for someone to come on the show, but I have offered up to $2,000 to get Danny Tesh to come on the show.
I'd try anything. I would say, Danny, if you come on the fix, John will blow you.
Well, look, I got to be good for something.
I mean, John might not agree to it.
I might. Who knows?
It is Danny Tesh. It is Danny Tesh, mate.
You gotta go full Bob Hope mode. If you're
gonna go flying in and throw on a chew, I'll do it with Danny Tesh.
Look,
you gotta pay him for the word, by the word. If I can get 17 words out of him, that'd be a killer live stream. But
that's the play, Neil. That's the play. You create the Danny Tesh Classic.
We need to do it.
To flush him out.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I bet it'd go off as well.
Yeah, and you put question marks if he's going to show up and try and pressure him to get there. Send flyers to his house. Snail mail.
Neil with a clickbait tournament. Oh, wow. Wouldn't that go down well?
Think of the fucking potential. You could have the Brisbane 8 singing the national anthem like fucking Boys to Men at the beginning. I mean, you could have so much fun with that. Oh, God. It'd be unbelievable. Anyway, let's get back to the brass tacks. So what's a big gig in the US now then? If Winter Blast gets fired, it's got to be the biggest, surely.
Yeah, we've done 500 plus at Keystone. Winter Blast is doing it. Michigan State's is doing 500. I don't think anybody's cracked into the 6s that I know of since I've been arm wrestling.
And are these the same guys, Paul?
No, Steve Pettis is Michigan State's. That's another big one. New England's does like 300s up there with Josh Grant and those guys. Florida is now getting consistently like 150, which is huge because that's a waterlock state, kind of. Yeah. And then the Texas tournaments are doing in the 3s pretty regular.
I need to get my ass back out to America.
It's getting good. So the flip side is, and the counter argument is, there's too much, right? So like we don't have that true nationals that the big dogs are hunting for, but we have an every weekend tournament in driving distance. Like it's so hard to keep your calendar because you get a million Facebook events, like invites, and you just try and figure which ones can I go to, which ones are the best, driving distance. It's become very competitive. But as a new arm wrestler, you had the opportunity to gain experience that would have taken 3 years in 1 year.
Oh, without doubt. And we'll get onto this as we go into the discussion around some of the other topics we've got tonight, particularly around the dark card and so on. But I said on Jake's show the other day, for the little bit of time when I went on there, some of the some of the aspiration I have is to continue to try and unlock the next star, the next guy that you don't know about. Because let me tell you, back in the day, you know, you'd travel to Russia, you compete in Russia, and at those events, there may have been 5 guys that you had never heard of. You hadn't seen them at Worlds. You didn't know who the hell they were, and the level was right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same in Ukraine, Georgia, similar. Japan. You go to massive tournaments in Japan, and they had pullers over there that you did not know who the hell it was. Unbelievable pullers, really good. India got a lot of dudes over there that are probably rock strong that people don't know about. So it's trying to find those guys, the next guys, and if you're continually getting amateur events where 500 and 600 lads are showing up, they're going to come.
Yeah,
the next crop will come. You know, I'd love to find. I'd love to see the ladies sport go that way as well. So you had other superpower ladies nations emerge. So
go to Norway. Go to Norway for the ladies. I was there.
It's all the same peeps, though, isn't it, Jake? It's the Scandies, and outside the Scandies, you don't get. It's like you've got the Scandies hotspot, but outside of those, and obviously Russia, which now are pretty much out of the game for a while, you've no other major female hotspots around. You've got pockets of excellence.
It's so hard. It's so hard. You know?
Like 14-year-old girls pulling at this tournament, you know, at the Hardanger Open. I was just like, man, like the 14-year-old girls here in Australia. No chance that's happening. They're doing wrist work, but I tell you, it's not arm wrestling.
It's crazy. Like we've really tried to focus on that in like these past 6 years. Because you know, I work with James Reed, that's Michelle Dugan's husband. And he is basically the biggest feminist arm wrestler on the planet. So we have done everything in our power to help grow that area, conscious efforts at all times. And the growth has been so minimal. It seems like we can't get past that meathead issue where like the ladies are confident enough to come into that practice with 50 guys. We can't seem to defeat that. But I mean, we're still making the efforts. James is bringing over Thea and Malin. They'll be up in New York next week, traveling and doing seminars and all kinds of stuff. And then after East versus West, he's bringing up Gabby. So we're going to do a Harrisburg seminar with her. We're trying. I just hope some of these recent efforts really pay some dividends, because that's been a tough point that I see that we kind of failed at, you know? Yeah.
And the funny thing is, mate, I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but slight deviation, and then I will knock over a couple of super chats. But when we did the Vegas show with Arm Wars, and we were at one of the expos, the second year we were over there for high rollers. I did a lot of time there on the table before the tournament started. I was there. We set up, and then we just had the stand, the Arm Wars stand. A friend of mine called Paul Alderson was on the stand, and we were just had a load of people coming on. And we were there from early doors. We set up really early. And while we were on the stand, there was some interest from people who were there competing in various sports and stuff. And I kid you not, I had 4 girls come onto the stand within a 2-hour period, just sort of milling around, came on, they looked strong girls, came over, said, "Oh, can I try arm wrestling?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." I got on the table with the girls, and 4 of these US girls, one of them in particular, I can't remember her last name, but she was called Sally, and she was ridiculous strong, no technique at all, you know, but she'd got all the weapons, big hands, long forearm, athletic, lean, really, really joined up, moved well, picked up the technique that you showed her really quickly.
They learned fast.
To her, she didn't. You know, I was like trying to get her into some of the US lads, saying, "Holy shit!" You know, and she was a big girl. She was probably, I would say, 5'10" in in sneakers and trainers. She's like 5'10", probably there. She was lifting, but mate, ridiculous. They're out there. They are out there. I mean, you only have to watch CrossFit, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Imagine what you could pull out of that, you know.
Oh my God. Some of those girls are immoral.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. So, you know, with all the crossover coming from other strength sports and so on, I really hope that there's an opportunity. I'm planning on, if not the back end of 23, I would like in 24 to do a female only Iron House type thing or dark card type thing where we try and do something like the Gathering again, and that'd be interesting. It's just so difficult because of the split at the moment. I would have done that already, but because of the Russian thing and the division and the old IFA and WAF, which, let me tell you, behind the scenes is more problematic than you know. When you want certain arm wrestlers and it's like, you can't use those guys, or problem, you know?
Yeah, we had that at Hardanger Open, because we had some Swedish people come over and they had to, and then Swedish Nationals was on the same day, and the Nationals was IFA, but the East versus West qualifier was obviously WAF, and got a glimpse behind it all, and I was just like, oh man, like, do people understand that our sport is like a blip on the radar, and we have all this politics? It's like, come on now, we all need to be like Paul Lynn. Like, if everyone's like Paul Lynn, I think we'll be all right. We need a bit of Lindiana Jones in there.
That gets to a situation imminently where we can move past it all, you know. But we do have a way of cocking each other up in arm wrestling. They really do. Let's knock over a couple of these super chats. So Ivan Kozlik, Neil, Supernatural Strength Official. How can I buy Devon's Arm Wars t-shirt from Serbia? No shipping option available. Really? Okay. I need to think about that, mate, because at the moment the merch that comes for Arm Wars is actually from one of the companies that we work with. So in other words, I do not sell those. That's to come direct from the company. So I'll have to call them and see what's possible there. Let me look into that, Ivan. If you've got the channel email, just email that. I'm sure Don will pick it up and we'll have a look at it. I don't know what the scenario is there, because it's we're quite tied into that company. Let me have a look at that, mate. We'll find a way around it somehow, I'm sure. Okay, let's have a look. Chess goals, and this is for Mr. Lynn, for Lynn Sanity, the best pound for pound puller in the US. Great to see you, mate. He's a big fan of the White Oak. Chess goals. Is that the guy that Devon tells me about when he came over to the dark card? Like a really solid chess player from Canada that also pulls. I think it might be the guy. Might be the guy. If it is, Devon was talking about you a lot, mate, when he was at the dark card. Here we go. Spermie's ass is creamy.
Yeah, what a guy! I've got a face to the name. That's just what happens. Gary Roberts comes back. The crazy Uncle Jim launches himself, and then it was, and then we get a face reveal. Sorry, Neil. I was very happy when Spermies come on. Very happy.
Mate, quality, absolute class. So here we go. It's another Lynn topic. Here we go, Neil. The Lindonator, Uncle John and Jakers. Hail, mate. They're telling stories about you, Spermies. Good lad. We got Carlos Hakim in the chat. He's put, hi, guys. Uncle John did a great job in Toronto. I'm the drunk guy shouting smash and mat with Mulvihill. And I had an amazing time. Table monkeys are the best.
It was a hell of a tournament.
Yeah, have a few Larry peeps.
You guys nailed the production and the
commentary. Well, it's in the El Macumbo, right? Which is like this legendary bar in Toronto, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Rolling Stones. So they have a built-in studio setup. So they have a camera and it's already all set up. And I saw like some of the stuff coming from the pay-per-view portion is ridiculous. Some of the cleanest video I've seen.
Nailed it in every aspect.
One thing I love about Table Monkeys is they're trying, and they're trying new things. They've been doing team things. They did the tournament and then the round robin. They did the free tournament and then the pay-per-view for the round robin. That's the one thing these guys are like, hey, we're over here. If you want to see something new, we're trying these formats, because I mean, if anyone's going to absolutely nail a new format that Arm Wars or East versus West, King of the Table, like, oh, that's good, we're going to use that. It'll be from Table Monkeys. I love what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they do some good stuff. Another great crew, the Table Monkeys. They're obviously obsessed with the game, and that's, it's from that you breed these things. It's where it comes from. It really is. So we just had a super chat there from NWUK1. But another question for Paul. Sorry, you had to apologise for that one, Paul, because you're getting so popular. He's put, of Neil's bench press reps, how many do you think counted?
I count all them reps, every one. I'm a half repper. I have to bench off of a block because my labrums are torn. I can no longer lower the weight beyond within 3 inches of my chest. So I am subject to that pain. And I also do not have full range of motion in my arm. So unfortunately, I am relegated to Neil's reps. But I can tell you, they might not be full Coach Ray reps, where, I guess he said only 2 reps were completed. In my case, I am seeing that as a very good accomplishment. I don't care how long you hold, whatever that is, weight-wise. It's like, what is it, like 110 kilograms?
Mate, what I really scrapped myself on, joking aside, because it is no joke, I did that. It was Doug, actually, that we got talking about that. So me and Doug were just back and forth in. And Doug said, can you do any exercises at the moment that don't hurt your wrist really bad? I said, well, funnily enough, I can sometimes do pull-ups and bench. And then probably the only 2 where my wrist is sort of supported and doesn't move. And my sons were really keen to get in the gym. They were like, oh, can we go in the gym? And they're a bit, particularly my youngest boy's a bit young, so I wasn't overly keen on it. But my eldest lad's getting to that age now where he sort of can go in the gym. He's right about that age, and he really wanted to go in. I said, you know what? Come on, we'll go in. And he did his set of bench pressing, super lightweight, more rep focused. And then at the end of it, he just comes out with a classic. He goes, oh, could you lift that now, Dad? And you know how you do. You dad it off, don't you? So like a dick, guy goes, oh, of course, son. I could, and he said, what, you could do that easy? And I went, really easy, mate. Yeah. And back in the day, no half reps, I used to be a pretty good bencher. Sure. So my cocky as frig just goes, mate, I'd do 100 reps with that. Yeah. Just like a knobhead. And he called me out on it, didn't he? He goes, 100 reps. And I went, like, of course I could. And he went, all right then. And my other son's like, all right, Dad, go on. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I pulled every frigging cheat in the book. I'm talking, I gripped wide. Yep. You name it, they all came out the frigging bag. And I still full on nearly had a stroke, Paul.
Yeah. Listen, 100 reps of anything is cardio. It is cardio.
Bad.
With muscle fatigue and lactic acid. It sucks. I don't like, I'm more like an open rep range guy. I don't do 1 RMs. But I don't go crazy to failure all the time either. Or I go to failure with weights that I don't have to get into cardio for. So
where do you go on a big bench, Paul?
Like what I've been gauging myself off of is 315 block reps. Mm-hmm. So the goal is to get over 21. So, but 21 ain't going to kill me cardio yet. So to me, I can do that like twice a week and not be messed up. But once you start doing like 225 reps and you're getting to them 40s and stuff, that is cardio. I'm done and my heart's racing and I'm like, why did I do that?
What's it like when you finish benching, Jake? What's it like for you when you finish benching like 315?
Correct.
Yeah, well, I just sit there and I actually take a photo of me laughing at Paul Lynn. That's what I do. Yeah, when I'm like, oh, 21, is that all?
See, Neil, when I watched that stream, when you were explaining the scenario, how you got roped into that, and you were like, of course I can. You know what? Matter of fact, I can do 100. And then you said that one of your sons say, okay, but if you don't, you owe us $50 or $100 or something.
That is what happened. But he only did that. That was the youngest one. He's going to make money, let me tell you. He's a little bugger, but he's clued.
Yeah.
And he said, for every, he said, every failed rep, he said, £1.
Every pound.
I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness. And and you know what? I was like, Neil, no, that's where you messed up. That's where you put the counter bet in and you get yourself out. And then you say, look, when I do this, you guys are going to give me 1,000 push-ups. I do it all the time with my kids. My kids will say stuff about bench or power clean, the stuff that I don't really do anymore. All right, cool. If I can't, I'll do 30% more than you. And if I do that, you owe me 1,000 push-ups. If I can't do what you 30% over, I'll do 1,000 push-ups. And they always fold. They always fold because they've seen me beat people and they've seen people try and finish 1,000 in an hour.
Yeah, and bottle it. You basically cow them down by it. I should have, but it got funny because RVJ in the fucking house.
What's
What's
going
up,
on?
yo? Just trying to get this thing fucking figured out.
So
Just a little
a
something. I
couple of
got my
nights
volume all
after, Paul,
fucked up.
I decided I'd go back in there
Okay.
and have another go, right? And I was sore as shit. Again, this came from Doug.
Yeah.
So Doug said to me after I'd done that first thing, he said, he was pissing himself. He said, how did you find it? I said, oh, really bad. He said, what you want to do is just go through the pain and tomorrow go out and do another 100 and then do an every day for 100 days. Now, if I'd have done that, I would literally die. You know, there's no way I could do that. But I figured it went like 2 days after and I thought, you know what? I'm going to just see out of interest with that super lightweight what I can do. So I went back out and had another go at it. What a dick. I'm still really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really sore now. Can't move my arms up high. Oh, wreck myself, mate.
Did you
So
do
I just
100?
need a longer rest.
Did you do another 100?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did more, actually.
Goodness.
You know, I mean, obviously, they were the half rep. So we'll call it 4. Right?
Yeah. You got 2 from Ray, now Ray's giving you 4.
But mate, and then I did the 50 kilos, and then you start thinking, so I did 100 kilos, and then I did 120 kilos. I didn't want to go heavy. I would bugger myself up.
Yeah.
So I just did a little, just a little set, but I actually enjoyed it. Did actually wreck my wrist. That's a different story. But it was good fun. It was. But funnily enough, I've had 6 people now send me in their attempt.
Yeah.
And every
So
one of the
what's the
6 has
attempt,
gone.
Neil?
Shit. Sorry, mate.
What's the attempt? I'll try and do one.
It's 50 kilos, not heavy. It's 50
Including
kilos.
the bar?
Yeah, 50 kilos total weight. Sure, 50 kilos, 100 repetitions. Everyone's got to touch your chest.
Of what?
Bench.
And it sounds really easy, and it's actually not that bad at all until you get to about 80, and then it really starts to, well, it was, for me anyway.
Well, listen.
When it starts to kick,
I'll try it.
Rob,
I'm going to try that today, Neil, and I'll send it to you. 50 kilos.
Rob, would you even try that? Because I don't even think I would try that.
I mean, I personally, for a chest workout, people used to laugh at me, but I like push-ups. And it's very similar probably in weight because most guys that are big benchers, you'll notice they can't even get up to 50 push-ups.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing there. Even guys that can bench like a motherfucker, they can't even do 50 push-ups.
Well, funnily enough,
so I mean, I'm not a huge bencher, so I can push up pretty good. I can push up and dip like a mother, but I can't really. I'm not a huge bencher. I got a good strong triceps, but for some reason my bench hasn't come together.
Over Christmas, just before Christmas, I was getting like 40 and 50 on push-ups, and I continued doing a few, but on my knuckles.
Yep.
So
I gotta grab like 15-pound dumbbells, and I put them in almost like military style, like this, or I'll play them kind of like at a 45.
Yeah,
I do some jailhouse shit too, where I like bring them down. I got a tripod here. I got to figure out how I'm holding it, but I'll put them close and like bring them down to like my heart, like this, like almost like doing close grip bench presses.
Yeah,
and I'll go like wide. I'll do like a jailhouse routine, which is like you'll do wide. You'll do them by your waist. You'll do almost like gymnastics, like you're doing a planche.
That's my go-to, Rob. Like if I'm stuck traveling and I don't have a gym, I do EMOMs every minute on the minute, 20 for an hour. Would bring you to 1200, and every set you alternate your grip on the knuckles, off the knuckles,
close, wide. Just changing your fingertips makes everything.
Calisthenics training is a friggin' incredible form of training, and particularly pull-up based.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across the Bronx bartenders?
Yeah.
What about you, John? Have you ever seen the Bronx bartenders?
No.
Okay, when you finish this, look up. There used to be a clip, and I think it was called, you'll have to check this out, but it was called something like Hannibal for King.
Oh, yeah, that's the OG.
Mate.
What is it?
Go and watch that.
It's the OG. That's what really started bar sports and like street calisthenics is Hannibal. Really, like that video really kicked off and went viral. But really, all that shit is poor man's gymnastics.
But my
Is that,
God.
like, is that like where they have the double bars in the park and stuff, and they do all that?
Yeah,
crazy
yeah. That's
like,
the kiddie.
I've seen all that.
Mate, Hannibal for King, it was called, this clip. And I remember the first time we had the Semi Combat Sports Show in the UK, and the Bronx Bartenders guys came over. And I met with the guys where they were there. I was watching them, and I was like, what the? Unbelievable, mate.
To me, that's one of the most impressive, like styles of strength that I've ever seen. These guys that have total body control, hanging and doing pull-ups and doing pull-ups. It's not, to me, that appears more unattainable for myself than any other level of strength. I can't even do a one-arm hang, and I don't see that I'm close enough to ever even be able to think I'm going to be able. And you see these guys just ripping out one-arm pull-ups with weight and like controlling it. It's unreal.
Listen, you could think your chest and shoulders are strong, and then lay down and try to do a planche push-up and see what you think about your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. There's different, like we say in arm wrestling, there's different levels to this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like lay down, like I was doing with my dumbbells, I would invert them in a way where I was trying to work in like a planche, kind of like holds and get that, because it incorporates the shoulders and the strength. But go get on a set of rings and see how you feel like Bambi on ice. And then there's somebody out there doing some shit that's super fucking weird, because that's like, of course it's their sport and it's what they live on. But the fact of the matter is they've attained a level of muscular control and strength that is, without a doubt, it's super weird. Without a doubt.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, I'm Historian with a super chat. But congrats on the record, Ozzy. I went live for an hour and a half before the fix today. Oh, did you, mate? Good job. But and I will be doing so every week for the foreseeable future, mate. Top man. Get over to Arm Historian, give that guy some love. Yeah. Does some great stuff. Another mega channel that's popped up, the Arm Historian. Get over there. Thanks for your super chat, mate. I think we've got another one from NWUK1 just coming as well. How has Ozzy even got a voice left? Great to see Paul on. How's he feeling ahead of the match with Sasho?
Good. I'm good. I can't complain. Things are going to plan. My table output, got to do a lot of after pulling with the big guys and stuff. And I feel, I'm healthy. I feel good. I think everything's in line. I'm going to travel next week to work a little bit with Mr. Hutchings, pick his brain a little bit, and then we'll lay it down and see where the chips fall.
Where's your confidence level at, mate?
I mean, again, I look at this as I can only control what I can control, and that's me versus me. And I think I'm bringing my best version, but like on the table stuff. My gym numbers are picking up to like close to PR level. My body weight's right on point. My elbow feels good. My shoulders are always an issue, but they're in the best form they've been in a while. So, I mean, when it comes to straight side pressure and inside stuff, I feel about as strong as I think I've ever felt. So who knows where that matches up with Sasho. And I know he's going to come in strong because he's the man. So I think, confidence level is I'm bringing a better version of last time.
And what about yourself, Rob?
About what? About me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
you're pulling basically the same dude in some ways. I mean, both of you pulling super hooker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a weird place, right? Because in the middle of this whole thing, I'm changing all my ideology on what I thought about arm wrestling training. So I told Paul this a little while back. I stepped into this sport and started really making noise when John Brzezinski was about my age. John Brzezinski's 15 years older than me. So when I was in my early 20s, John was in his early 40s, mid-20s. I was like 26, John was like 41. And he told me about his theories in arm wrestling and shit like that. And I didn't really understand it and buy it. Like I thought the gym, like if you're not lifting weights. But he told me that as you get stronger, you can demand more, like it radiates through your body. Like you'll start feeling things in your shoulders and your back and in weird places because you're using your body more efficiently.
Yeah.
So my training, what I see everyone around me doing is the mantra is like, be the hardest worker in the room, no days off, work more. And I'm feeling that as I'm like coming together, like arm wrestling training at a high level, really going for it, is basically all I've been able to do. I've not really been able to like be in the gym full time. And I don't really, I feel a little bit insecure about it because my gym numbers are probably off, but I think I'm a better arm wrestler, if that makes sense.
Trust it, Rob. You know what? After we talked about it, I kind of reflected on what I was lately doing too. And my volume in the gym has been kind of less and more focused. After you brought that up, because I was thinking to myself, like, man, I don't know where I'm at gym wise here. I mean, I'm not doing as much crazy nonsense I was doing early because I was doing too much. And I had a very similar conversation with Johnny, begged me to pull back on the gym. And I was, you know, the OCD in me just makes me go, you know? So I did pull back a little bit, and I kept in mind, like throughout this time, like health to be able to practice and practice harder on the table. And I think some of the things I've been better, like statically on the table for longer times. And because I haven't been like crushing my elbow in the gym, my elbow is now healthier and can withstand the table stuff to greater degrees.
And then in turn, you're building better habits, better body awareness. Because if you go into a practice feeling all bunked out, you are in turn, like your fighting nature will make you pull, but you're going to pull in positions that aren't conducive and that you don't want to ever find yourself in at a world level competition. So the idea of going to practice fresh isn't just so you can beat up on your dudes. It's so you can have like good body awareness, good body lines and drives. And for me, that once a week, it's been really hard. Like I trained with those guys with Jerry in his camp Wednesday, and here we are on Sunday, and I went to go do some light shit. We went to a hotel this weekend, little getaway. And I went to the hotel gym and I was like, I can't do any of this shit. I'm smoked. I can still feel it. But that's like at that deep, like connective tissue, skeletal, like all your fibers. But it's like, I actually finally believe that fucking John only did arm wrestling training, but he was just doing it so far ahead of the curve that we didn't understand it. Because now I'm a massive
believer in that though, Robin. The whole, you want to be a good tennis player, play tennis. You want to be a good arm wrestler, arm wrestler.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a big fan
Like
of
I
that.
think
And not only in the gym.
If you put me in a weight room, my numbers aren't as great as I'd like them to be, and they'd make me insecure. But I feel like I move much better on a table, and I'm much more conditioned for a table.
And
I'm ready for a table.
So good. It's massive. Massive. It's massive.
Coach William did a podcast with Adam Warzinski, and Adam made some really good points. He articulated them really well, to the point of what you're making, Neil. Like so many times, and Rob, you and I talked about this. You go to practice, and everybody's trying to. They want to pin everybody. And where in what sport are we practicing to like when you practice baseball, you structure your practice in 7 different drills of certain aspects of baseball, not just trying to hit a home run all the time. Or you got to break it up. And we are in one of those sports where we have a detrimental mind state that says, go to practice and beat the guy that I couldn't beat last time. Practice is not a game. Practice should be training for specific aspects that you need to get better in so that everyone gets better. And it's such a hard thing to do. And I listened to Adam talk about it. And Rob, I saw some of the trainings you do at Fitzy's. And I can tell that you guys are breaking it down. And I've been trying to make a conscious effort to do that. Like work in lanes, defend lanes, control, like, and structure it out in a set range of things. And I think that has helped big time. It's a big difference between going to arm wrestling training and going to arm wrestling practice.
Well, now that the amateur levels are growing so much, what we're going to see is clubs that are smashy, they're inevitably going to start to fall off. And the clubs that really embrace that idea, those are the clubs that are going to start to come up. So I think it's a really good sign, because that's I was lucky in finding guys that's the way I started arm wrestling, was slower and more methodical. And so that's what I've always done. But then I go somewhere else and guys are just drilling me for the entire time.
Yeah. And that whole team walks around relentlessly injured, and they're wondering why they've been training for 2 years and they've not grown. You know, it goes to the expression you hear that walks across all sports. It's practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You have to train properly. And you know, Travis said something a long time ago that was very profound when he was doing his CrossFit gym. I don't know if he's still doing it, But he was like, you know, people go to a gym and they like to do what they feel good about. So if you're a big bencher, you want to lay down on the bench because it makes you feel good. You know, you're the one who wants to bench. If you're the guy who's got the huge biceps, you want to do curl day. You love that shit. A lot of people really shy away from what they feel vulnerable and weak in. And when you go to arm wrestling practice, like, okay, if you're the guy at the hand and the wrist, you don't want to get tossed in the hook. And if you're the guy that's got a shitty hand and wrist, you want to hook all day. But being able to navigate those waters and use that practice, and it's a bitch. It is a bitch, and it's a kick. But if you want to be a better athlete and performer, you've got to get comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yes. I mean,
I have noticed that people, Paul, like are noticing it with you and other people that are coming around the world. If you come from another sporting background, if you're not just coming straight into arm wrestling, you do that set structure, whether it's football, my boxing and basketball. You turn up, you do your drills, you practice a few things, and then at the end of training, you'll have a scratch match or you'll do some sparring. But yeah, people are just turning up, not even doing a warm up, and then it's a full out hook wall. Where me and another guy, Julian, we're bringing that into our club. We're like, hey guys, like if you know want longevity in the sport, come over here and we do drills. And then it's like, right, Rob, what's something you want to work on? Oh, I'm a rubbish top roller. Okay. And it's 15, 20, 25 repetitions of the perfect top roll with pressure. And then once you've done like an hour with us in our corner, all right, go spar, go do that. I think that's the difference of people coming into arm wrestling and people that have come from arm wrestling from another sport.
And now you're safer because you did an hour of arm wrestling. You got blood everywhere. Now you can afford to bang a little bit. And we talked about this aspect too. Sometimes the worst I ever feel after practice is when all I do is work with new guys who just want to bang everywhere, you know? Whereas I can go pull with Craig Touye and we can work on a specific thing and he can rip my arm open 100 times and I'm not sore because everything he does is so clean. It's structured. I know where he's going. And you come away stronger and healthier. It's the when you're there, just letting a guy do whatever he wants. He's doing everything in his power to pin you, you know, especially if there's a camera around.
Yeah, you gotta think we're building like neurological connection. That's where I think the X factor lies with why you see some of these guys from countries that they're not necessarily as muscular or as like gargantuanly built skeletally. Yet they have like, it's like Bruce Lee, because they talk about the mythic 1-inch punch. He could throw that 1-inch punch. He could make it all kind of coil up and pop at the right time. Now, there's a lot of power to be harnessed. And I think that when you're training your neuromuscular, like neurologically, to just be a slow catching drone, if you do that 10,000 repetitions through a day because you're being a nice guy, well, you're being a hell of a training partner. But you're not doing yourselves any favors in becoming a real fucking savage beast against other guys who are, you know, they might not be as strong, they might not be as gifted, they might not be as skeletally there, but they're firing on 100 neurologically in all their fibers, and you're firing on 42. You know, you're handicapping yourself. Really,
that happened to me, Rob. That exact scenario happened to me. It was when during all the lockdowns, no one had anywhere to arm wrestle. So I'm like, everyone, come to my house. It'll be fine. And I wanted them to enjoy themselves. So I literally, you know, let them hit, let them attack, and then I just sat there in that defensive hit. So then when everything opened up and I went to training and I went to hit, I had nothing. Because I just spent 12 months here making sure everyone else had a good time. And like that was you just
no man's
like
12 months of my training.
You need to be able to conduct, and myself and Rob talked about this at Reality Check, and I know I've spoken to John about it as well. In my opinion, with the whole, if you want to be a good arm wrestler, arm wrestle, the ideal look for these things, it's not just in the gym, it's not just in training, effectively match replication. One of the best ways to do it is activity. And I talk to it when people talk about predictions quite a lot. I'll refer to dynamism and level of activity in an arm wrestler making a great deal of difference in potential results. And a lot of that is because if you are not match tuned, it's enormous differential, because you need to be able to go to the event and be able to conduct 70 to 80% of the movements that you're going to perform within that match on autopilot. And if you're performing at that level, then you may be able to connect the dots against a good dynamic arm wrestler in that split second that you need to recover a position. Otherwise, a good guy's going to dust you. Why I have so much respect for Kirigali Ungabayev at the moment is because he's right there.
Yep.
He's right there in all the spectrum. If you look at that arc, he is absolutely proficient throughout the arc of the movement. Defensive, attacking, doesn't matter. His movement is crisp. He is right there.
But he's
perfect.
He's not just on the level of athletic movement. Like, he's a conditioned athlete, like a Spartan that was trained, and he doesn't see physical differences. He doesn't see intimidation. He's born, bred, raised, and it didn't matter if there was somebody that was bigger or more imposing or had stronger something. His fucking culture and his mantra is like, find a way, be faster, be better, be stronger. Like, they don't have that fight or flight. Like, it's fight. And he goes in there with a very stoic, calm, and that's what I'm talking about, is that level 10 for somebody. Now imagine if you took somebody that had that mindset and that mantra and that fucking, like, narrowing your vision with somebody that was like physically stronger and structurally maybe a lot more than him. That's the next X level of arm wrestling, is training your brain as well to be, because I really think that we all think the hole we fall into, something I want to talk about for a long time, is I think people fall into seeing their gains wane off as in what they can lift and what they can move in the gym. But it's kind of interesting when you think about the neurological side of it, that you could take exactly what you have, get no stronger. People have said all the time to me, if I could take Engin Terzi's brain and put it in you, or John Brzezink's brain and put it in you, or Devon Larratt's brain and put it in you, you'd be a fucking world champ for 100 years. It's like, I fuck myself. So that's just a computer. That's just a motherboard. But, like, do you remember Dennis Rogers?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Okay. So Strongman, they had him on Stan Lee's Superhumans years back.
Mm-hmm.
And they figured out that at 132 pounds or something stupid, he could do strongman feats that guys that were super heavyweights
Rob,
couldn't
just
do.
give people in the chat an indication about what Dennis does with the grip, the bending, and then.
Yeah, Dennis Rogers is a guy who is a former arm wrestler, but he's a known strongman that he would break handcuffs, he would bend heavy steel, he would tear decks of cards with his fingertips, stop bowling balls from dropping on his chest. Like, he was just a crazy freak of human strength. And they brought him on Stan Lee's Superhumans. He was I think he was a world champ arm wrestler as well. But they found out that something, when they put all the things on him, that what any one of us would normally require, like, our bodies are naturally lazy. It would call on like 50% of your muscle fibers. He knew how to make 100% of his muscle fibers fire off at a time, right? So he could make that 130-pound body as strong as a 240-pound man at max capacity. But the 240-pound man's only firing off at like half of himself because he doesn't have that neurological connection. So there's a possibility that you could make those kinds of gains through building that connection, almost like a martial art, that you don't have to get any stronger or more powerful. It's just how you kind of connect and move it. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world. When I was speaking to John, and John can sort of pick up on this about a lot of the stuff that I'm big into, if you train repetition movements for bone line techniques. So basically what we mean by that, for anyone who doesn't know, is to isolate people's bone line, because most arm wrestling and most strength movements are based around linear motion. So in other words, the switch is on, but if you move it here, the switch is off. Just moving out. If you move at the wrong time, and you can completely disconnect your opponent from their linearity, you can make an enormous impact on the level of strength that they can execute at any given time. And going back to what we were saying about the being able to perform a large percentage of the movements on absolute autopilot. So it's almost like the scenario where somebody would throw an orange at you, and you don't think you've done it so many times, you just catch the orange, and you're not sure how the fuck you caught the orange, but you did. You just look in your, and it's like, oh yeah, I caught it, because it's just a reaction. And if you can get arm wrestling to that level, and I had John just with bands, just doing small movements to supinate and to pronate into bands, just to move an inch, to move 2 inch, to bone line people. And it's it's almost like a soccer playing going out and guy goes chest, knee pass. And these are top professional. Chest, knee pass, 10,000 hour rule. You know what I mean? Just that one thing that's going to be the underpinning. Train the jab, and everything follows. It's that same thing. But you nail that, absolute step up in level.
Well, that's something that I feel in North America is a very different mindset, because when I go around North America and I go to a tournament, there's a lot of loading. There's a lot of pressure going on in the setup. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I took away from Arm Wars. That whole experience of Arm Wars is there's other ways to do it, right? Sometimes just going to the gym and getting stronger is not the answer. Mm-hmm. You can do things a lot smarter, but you do have to slow it down. You do have to find the faster way to engage or the smarter way to engage. And I think for whatever reason, people have a very difficult time separating what they think arm wrestling is in their mind from what they've been told versus what it can be at the higher levels.
And after the show, I mean, Paul, Rob, you're going to be there. After the show, just grip up with Keir Galley. Just grip up with him. See what resistance you feel on that setup. Just grip up with him.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at it, these are things that have been making me think, because as I try to find health and time to do the gym, like I said, my training theory has been rocked with, could I just become more efficient? But with the body I have right now today, my body right now as it is, instead of going and trying to figure out how to bench press and shoulder press more numbers, am I good enough to be head and shoulders better than I've ever been if I just use myself better than I've ever used myself? Mm-hmm. It's like you think of a race car. If you take a Ferrari Enzo or some sort of supercar, a Bugatti, and you put an inexperienced driver out there and have them run a hot lap, they might fucking crash it, loop it, spin the gears, miss. They don't know how to handle that power. Now, they might come back with numbers that you come back to it and you post them and you say, well, those numbers aren't that great. That's not a reflection on the car. The driver's running like shit. You put a guy out there who's a good driver and he knows how to use the most of that car, and he makes that car for what it's worth. The only thing that changed is how that car is being used. You see, it's just a driver in the car. So I've had a lot of these weird revelations lately, and I'm just kind of like, there's so much more than just being a guy that moves numbers. We're in a culture with YouTube and stuff that gets views, like lift a heavy weight.
100%.
But being a lot more efficient, moving a heavy weight in our sport right now has become like, we'll say like boxing, the guys who go and hit those huge numbers on the boxing punching bags. Well, congratulations. You hit something on an arcade game that doesn't move. Now go try to do it with a human when you got to bounce around left or right, and they're also throwing shots at you. And when you miss, you get winded in about 30 seconds, and your hands get heavy, and those 16-ounce gloves or 10-ounce, 12-ounce gloves feel like they're 1,000,000 pounds. Whole different game. Don't think because you can punch a standing static bag and bring a cool number that you're now a good boxer. That's not even 1%.
We've just seen only the last couple of weeks, we've seen a guy that is obviously an extremely versatile arm wrestler, and he really is, Gennady Quickvinya, doing the old circus lift, because it's great. It's dramatic, isn't it? Oh, he's moved 130 kilos. But the reality is that will that present itself in the match? Probably not. And put it this way, if it does, we all know it's over. Because
if you could ever move 130 kilos in a direction and really isolate that direction, no one's stopping it.
Yeah, nobody's stopping it.
Nobody.
So it wouldn't be any. If the guy was able to set that position, he'll finish the match. It's that simple. Because nobody's going to get out of there.
That's death.
The likelihood of doing that is a lot slimmer than me.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. But let's just knock over a couple of super chats quick before I lose them. and then we should really talk about the dark card as well. And a couple of the things there. So we got Engin's Forehead Taco with a super chat, and it's to Mighty Jake Ward. But Jake, What a machine. Unbelievable live. Question for the panel. Does Arm Wrestling Whisperer have potential in arm wrestling? Seems to have big following and great vids. I love the guy, personally. I think he's great. I think he's got his
We were
niche.
talking about him on the 24-hour stream, I think. Were we not? We were talking about potential next big stars.
Superstar.
Yeah, superstars. And we kind of figured like a guy like Arm Wrestling Whisperer, right? He doesn't claim to be an elite arm wrestler, right? He's just an arm wrestler guy. He found his niche. He found his viral thing that he does. So I hope he does grow. I hope he continues to grow in his ability, and I hope he continues to grow in his entertainment factor and how he can present himself, because it's certainly there. The numbers are there.
Yeah, he's coming to Australia, probably not July, but in October for AWE. He's going to have a match with Jamie Barrett.
I think that he has a ton of potential. And I remember catching the videos when they first came out. And I thought they were cringy from the arm wrestler's perspective. And I keep watching them, and I'm seeing like, I know how the arm wrestlers are going to take this. But then like I'm seeing a guy, and I'm like seeing him against, like, as he progressed along, you're seeing him against legit dudes. Like,
Yeah,
that's strong. And
I agree.
I mean, he's now in that no man's land of like, he might be like the kids that I coach know him for sure. Because he's viral. And they asked me about him, and you gotta explain the difference and everything. But I'm like, no, at this point, I think this guy has a potential to crack rankings like right now, if he's not already. So he is in fact legit, but he's still stuck in like, all right, I gotta keep creating this viral content, which tends to piss the community off because they feel like it's a detraction or cringy. So
they want to discredit him, because they think he's just a YouTuber. Schoolboy went through this for a while, where Schoolboy was seen as just a YouTuber, and he came over here and started slaying out some tournaments. And I remember, I think I met him and pulled with him before Devon did. And Devon was like, is there any reality to the hype? I was like, because at the time I went through him pretty quick, but I was like, no, he was real, because we were in a tournament with real dudes, and like he beat everybody, and then went to a handful of tournaments after the one I was in and beat everybody. And I think that this kid, the Arm Wrestling Whisperer, I think it's easy to hate on the arm wrestling YouTuber because you think they're just coming in and punking the community for views. But when you watch how he pulls and his polish, I think it will take an established arm wrestler to beat him. He's not some kid that's going to go and lose to some dude in a biker bar anymore.
Unless he's not going 0-2 in a tournament.
Unless there's a sleeper in the house, he's legit. He's an arm wrestler that makes good contact.
Without question.
This is the guy that is hooking everyone in the class except for Alan Fisher.
I've been really impressed with the guy. I really like him.
Yeah,
and I think, and instead of everyone like dunking on him, like I know the arm wrestling purists are like, just imagine of how many extra eyes he's bringing. Like people like, what's this arm wrestling thing? Oh, that's what that arm wrestling whisper in the aviators, like Paul was saying, people that he coaches, they might know 3 arm wrestlers, Devon, Paul Lynn, and the arm wrestling whisperer. So what he's doing is working to get more eyes on the sport.
Well, I've got his back. I think the kid's great. I think he's got a good look. He's got a good hook. Good on him. Crack on.
Soothing voice.
Big fan.
The perspective though from the arm wrestling community is real, and like we have to like understand that, because we got these guys that are in this tiny niche community that are grinding, and they got their little Facebook and their Instagram, and they got 800 people following them, and they're doing things, and they're like, maybe they're ranked or whatever. So when you see this guy pop up with these pseudo cringy videos that present this unbeatable guy, the hate happens. It happens naturally. Like, I'm not even blaming those guys, because you're looking at it like, what the hell is going on? This guy shows up out of nowhere. He whispers and does weird stuff, and now everybody loves him, and they think he can beat me, and I'm number 2 guy in the country. So like, you got to also, like, from his perspective, what is Etienne supposed to do? Is he supposed to say, hey, I'm making X amount of money from YouTube, and I'm like promoting my supplement company or whatever he does, I'm going to give that up so I can have these 5,000 people.
Yeah, but he never, he's very careful. he never promotes himself as the unbeatable arm wrestler. He
Yeah.
promotes himself as, I'm going into this room full of Marines. Can any of them beat me?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
that's not, he's not saying, can I go out there and beat Paul Lynn and Rob Vidgen and Neil Pickup? He's saying, I happen to be in a room full of big bad motherfuckers. Can they beat me? And you know what it is? He's a really smart creator.
Yeah,
He's a creator of really good content. And fuck, I mean, I wish I was in his lane. You know what I mean? Fuck it. The guy's got a good little shtick and he's in a good area. Where is he? Out in California. He gets on his motorcycle. He's almost like, what was that movie with the guy that killed everybody? He was the ghost motorcycle rider. Remember that shit?
Ghost Rider.
Back in the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't Ghost Rider. There was one in the 80s where he like had like a ghost like race car or motorcycle or some shit that came back from the dead and killed everybody.
No.
It was wicked 80s. Yeah, I'll figure it out and I'll put it out there.
That might have been one of those like really old B movies that nobody, you know, like Robo
Only I watched,
Beyond
yeah.
Infinity.
Well,
Something like label that you got from the vid shop.
Yeah, Rob takes me as a Sharknado type of guy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, but
recently-
Whisperer also posts losses. Like
Yes,
he's like,
that's what
I'm
I mean.
taking on a 9-time world champion, and you know, he whispers, and then he's just like, then the 9-time world champion just crushes him, and he posts that as well.
And you know what? That's good. And see, that's like, if he does 1 in 10 videos like that, all them haters are like, all right, he ain't that bad. He's
Right.
places
Okay.
low.
So here's
Yeah.
what he does. No joke. True story. I go into a dentist about a month ago, and my dentist knows that I arm wrestle. No, I've shown him arm wars stuff. He knows I'm a national champion. And she's like, well, we were watching with the lady up front. We were watching this arm wrestling guy, and he whispers. I'm like, oh, the arm wrestling whisperer. And he's like, yeah. Do you think you could beat that guy? And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm like 220 and he's 165, so I would be confident. And he's like, nah. It's like, come on, man.
Hey,
Come
It's
on.
the internet, man. Don't you know
It's
what the internet
awesome.
does?
Hey, Neil, set that up.
hey,
Set that
well,
up
it's
along
funny,
with-
mate. This
Set it up.
this is really, really good, right? Because this segues lovely into one of the things that we're talking about here. So the dark card. Here we go. So the dark card. I speak to Devon the other day, and Devon says, oh, who's the guys? And he knows the guys now. When we first spoke about it, didn't know the guys. I said to him, look, I want to have a bit of fun with this, because this isn't right arm. And also, there's this healthy back and forth where if you say, okay, Neil, when you want to do this, I do not want to do this after East versus West, because that's a massive risk for me. Massive. What if Devon gets hurt? Then what? That ain't good. But the problem you've got is Devon is never available. Like, what about, we'll do it in June, we'll do it in July, we'll do it in August, we'll do it in, no, can't do that. But what Devon is makes himself very available. So Devon just goes, I'll come right after East versus West and pull that, because he doesn't give a shit. He's like, I'll put anybody, anytime, anywhere. He genuinely doesn't give a shit. So I'm thinking, right, okay, I want to have a bit of fun. So I'm going to try and do this stuff where I bring over guys. This is left arm. Now, I saw Devon's right arm at the last dark card, and I saw Devon's left arm. Very different. Very, very different. Okay, right arm, very hard to get matches for that guy, in my opinion, right now. He's back to the old Arm Wars days, where unless you're an absolute killer, you are in serious trouble. But left arm, not so much. Left arm, he can still be touched. So let's have a bit of fun. Okay, I'm going to try and bring together a crew of guys, 4 guys, Battleground, the old style, which Devon loved. As soon as I mentioned Battleground, he's like, I'm in. Loves that format. So I'm going to put together a crew of guys that tick certain boxes, and here's some of the clues that we're going to put out there. So number 1, expelling myths. Are they all Europeans? Not necessarily. Potentially global. I want to tick different boxes. Is it guys that are the usual suspects from the top 10 guys, top ranked guys in the world? It's a matter of opinion, isn't it? Not necessarily, but could be. What I do want to do is go down the old, something new, something borrowed, something blue route. So I've said a few times, there are guys out there you don't know, and their level might be higher than you think. So how true is that? Can we find guys that you aren't on anybody's radar right now that might be able to give Devon serious trouble in that kind of environment? I don't know, but it's going to be fucking good to find out, isn't it?
Well, in today's world, it's easy to do that because in the internet, if you're not really in the spotlight for like 6 months, you're an absolute nobody.
Mm-hmm.
There are guys that have been in the top of the world 2-3 years ago, but they might be inactive and the internet doesn't remember them at all. They're like, who is this cat? You know, and that's a lot of people. That just seems to be the way of how quickly we, you know, chew up and discard and in its society. Like there are guys that could have been Zloty and WAF champions back in 2010, and the world looks at them like you're a fucking joke because you're a, what'd you do for me? I didn't read about you recently in my feed, you know?
But what I love about this is, I really do love it, is that Devon is touchable on the left arm. But how touchable? I said to him, how is your left? He said, it's not great. It's not great. Then he starts pulling with Sandris, and they have those people who haven't seen the left arm match with Sandris. It was an absolute friggin' war. Red line death match. Mega. So this is it. We know that he's touchable there. Now I figure if I can go out and put together a crew of guys, Devon's one of them, and then try and challenge the arm wrestling community for guys that might not be on your radar, but might just, touch wood, give us some really entertaining matches and put Devon into some difficult situations. And that's what I'm trying to do. So we're going out. That's your first clue, guys. We've got in, it's not all Europeans. Could be, but I'll tell you, it isn't all Europeans. There is at least one global representative in there.
Are you going to let us throw some guesses out?
If you guess right, I won't answer.
So you said something borrowed, something borrowed, and something blue Bowen. Is that what you said?
Mate, I can assure you that the guy that I'm bringing over on the left arm, with all due respect to my mate Ryan, are well above Ryan's level on the left.
I've got one that's not probably in a lot of people's minds. I'm going through the Arm Wars archives, and one of the first guys left-handed that popped up was Lars Rohrbachen. But I don't know where he is these days. He still looks like a tank, but
who knows?
In the depths of Norway, bloody training with polar bears because he's too strong for everyone in Norway.
Who knows? But the guy, when I mentioned the names to Devon and he said, okay, they're interesting. I'm just getting us back so I can see some super chats. So I'm not going to give away too much tonight. We're going to give some more clues out. We're going to also the winners or the people that can answer this correctly, that come up with the 4 when we start dropping clues, some of which are going in tonight. They can come up with the 4 guys. So you know Devon's one of them. The 3 other guys that are in there, okay, will win one of the ultimate sets from Arm Sport. Handle set.
Nice.
We're also going to give away some other stuff like signed Devon shirts from all the athletes. So let me tell you a little bit about how the card's going to work. So, but I know obviously there'll be the running gags around, oh, it's already happened and it's filmed 3 weeks ago. Not the case. We will probably film it in the week directly following East versus West, ideally right at the back end of that week or further away from that if we can do it. And the reason for that is I want to give Devon time, because whilst Devon believes that he's going to be fine, I actually think the Gennady Quickvinia match is going to be friggin' brutal. because Gennady is no bum. That's a very strong man, and he's coming. He'll throw every frigging thing at Devon. So the further we can get away from that, the better. So we're going to try and arrange for people to arrive in the UK sort of middle of that week.
Where's Dennis is left at these days?
Couldn't possibly comment.
I see him training with the right. Is his left? Is he doing anything with it?
Really don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't think he could handle Dadakian. The last training that I saw with Dennis and Dadakian, I think David was the dominant factor. But let's be honest, there's been a lot of changes in Dennis in that period of time. So I don't know. But we'll probably get guys in sort of middle of that week is the plan. And in terms of when it'll be going out, the aspiration is the 20th. Now, I haven't actually checked the calendar, and I'm not stepping on anybody's toes there, which I would try my very best to. We won't, if some big thing's going on that week, you know, Monster Factory was on that, we're not going to run foul of anybody. We're not going to do that. It's just not how we roll. So we'll pick the date when there's nothing on, and we'll go out that Saturday night. There won't be any glitches, there won't be any hitches, there won't be any problems with the feed. It's going to be for all tiers of channel member. And we'll show, it's not just the Battleground. So we'll show the Battleground with the 4-man Battleground on the left arm. Devon also said the last time he came over that he definitely wasn't going to pull left, and we know what happened there. So let's see what happens. There are other guys coming over. One of them's right behind us. A guy that came off the Savage search that as soon as his name went on there, I was like, we want to get him. And we've been trying to put that guy onto a card since that time, trying to get dates worked out. His name is Kevin Palco, and he's from the USA. And I love that guy. And I'm bringing Kevin over, and I'm going to throw him headlong into the Birmingham Bullet Craig Sanders.
Woo!
So that should be a banger. Also,
Kevin just won nationals
Arnold.
the other day.
Won Arnold's, didn't he, as well? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think he beat Gromoff at the Arnold.
Yep.
So 75 kilo matchup there, 78 kilo in Arm Wars. But yeah, should be very, very interesting. Looking forward to that one. We've got another couple of matches that hey, there she is. There she is.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to interrupt. What's
There
just
you
going
know.
to do a couple of things. So
Little Aussie, mega. So there will be, hopefully, the Battleground matches, one other super heavyweight match, right-hander, that we're looking to put together. The lightweight match that we just talked about there, and I'm working on 2 others. We'll confirm them as soon as we can. It's still in the build. But that's the situation, guys. That's pretty much what we know at this stage. Yeah. So the channel memberships, I think £6 is the entry level for the channel membership. There's a lot more goes on there as well. We're putting an enormous amount on there. But that's going to happen with the dark card too. You never know who else might show up. Yeah, I might even talk Paul Lynn into at the dark card.
Get over to the UK, man. I love British culture. I've not been yet, and I gotta get there. I can't say enough about Kevin Palco, man. He's a Northeast guy, Ohio dude. He comes out to Keystones every year. I mean, his progress has been, like, people talk about like being on that boom, boom, boom. He has his trajectory has been like perfectly 45 degrees. And he's like peaking now. And I don't even think we're close to seeing the best, you know? He's at that top. In the United States, and we ain't seeing the best of him yet. And once you start putting him on these stages and these super matches where everybody's watching, we're going to see that the best come out of that guy.
Dude, when he gets revved, whoa, yeah. It's good stuff. That's good stuff.
And I love his style too, like just so committed, containment, side pressure, and deep, like elbow-driven hook. There's nothing not to like about the guy.
Can't wait. I'm really, really excited to have Kevin on the card. We haven't had him over on a roster yet, and I'm really looking forward. So Kevin Palco's on there, Craig Sanders, the Birmingham Bullets on there. As I say, we got 4-man Battleground. We're going to try and make that as exciting as we possibly can. We've got a really good blend there. We've got another super heavyweight matchup that we're working on as well.
Are you going to announce them all before it's actually?
Yeah, I would think we probably will, John. Yeah,
Okay.
certainly before it airs, I think we will do that. We just have Brad Cook in the motherfucking house, 217. Rob is talking about the Wraith. I think he's put on there, the Wrath, sorry. It was a car. Anybody heard of that? The Wrath?
Vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I ain't come across that one. I'm not. Did he see 80s film?
Yeah, 80s.
Yeah. I think Charlie Sheen's in that.
Over the top era. Not come across that one before.
Hey guys, I gotta drop my phone. My phone is on like 2%. I'm gonna get cut out here in a
Paul?
second. I just want to say bye to
Good
everybody.
to see you, mate.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry
you,
I've been
Paul.
absent. Sorry I've been absent. Things have been real hectic.
Hey,
But hopefully we can make it next week and then see how things go. I'll see you all. Those of you that's gonna be there, Neil. I'll see you in Istanbul.
top class, mate. Take it easy.
Hey, buddy. Good luck.
See you
Take
soon,
care.
mate.
Thank you guys. Take care, Jake.
See you, mate.
So we got Ryan Bull Ballinger with a super chat. He's put, the Arm Wrestling Whisperer is pulling a super match in North Carolina next Saturday against Joe Rogers. It'll be a good test for him to see his level. Love what he's doing for the sport. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan myself. I like the Arm Wrestling Whisperer. Dude's
Just with
doing a
that
good job.
battleground, Neil, because obviously we're going to play the guessing game after this.
Cool.
Can people email you their guesses or message you their guesses?
I will not be answering.
No, don't answer.
Well,
but it's like, so like John and I, we do giveaways and that, and everyone emails me and I go through them all. But yeah, but it's like, and then when the dark card and everything's announced,
I
you
would
can say,
advise
right,
people, even though you go through it tonight, I think people are going to honestly, I think people might really struggle to nail this one off the go. I know there's a lot of guys that think they've, holy shit, that's just come from you, Jake. I'm assuming you did not send that. I'll be on in 5, like literally just that landed from like then. That beat a message coming from you, which I'm assuming you must have sent earlier, but it's just landed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would wait and see what else comes out. We've already dropped a couple of really strong hints. We did a show the other week and I put some stuff up on the channel. And one of the guys' faces was on there. But it had glasses. We put some glasses on it and stuff, but it was the guy's face was on there. One of them.
Where was this at? Where was this posted?
It's definitely on the Arm Wars channel, and I think it's probably on Supernatural Strength as well. But one of the guys was on there and his face was in the poster.
Well, I'm gonna get this now.
But you only get a little bit of it. Good luck with that one. We tried to make it as hard as we could. But that's one of the guys. And as I say, we're trying to cover bases. So you know what we try to do in Arm Wars? We try to make you think. We'll try and make people think and redefine stuff. And the left arm makes it possible because Devon is human, left-handed. Right-handed, hard to match that guy. There's like maybe 4 or 5 guys on earth that can pull with him right now, in my opinion. From what I felt last time he stopped over in Manchester, wow. Ridiculous. But left hand, human.
The only one I can find with glasses is Michael Todd.
The only one I can find with glasses is a picture of you versus Michael Todd. Are you putting yourself in left-handed?
Yeah, I dropped by the other day on Pradeep Singh's show. And I was in the car. Paul was on there. I'd just been on with Engen. I was driving to another gig, put that show on. And I think somebody in the chat there suggested a match with yourself and Pradeep left-handed. Jake
and
he
Jake
was saying,
and
that'd be a good match.
Hey.
So you never know, mate. You never do know.
Okay, I found that video.
Mm-hmm.
What one is it? The video is Arm Wars members only. Who's next? And it's just like this, right?
Yeah. But that's the guy. One of the guys. And there are others coming. And we purposely tried to pull these guys from different areas, from different consideration factors. People that might be better than you think. You maybe don't know them. You don't know where they're from. You're not aware of that area of the world and where these guys come from. So we're working on trying to make things a little bit, try and change things up a little bit. Try and change things up a little bit and have some fun. So we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, All a bit of fun,
Love it.
guys. But the dark card 2 coming, as I say, we're building the card now. Probably be, I would think, anywhere from sort of 5 to 7 matches in total, I would imagine.
Nice.
5 to 7 matches. For me, ideally 5, but if guys are over and they want to pull a little more, we probably will. I like 5 as a number. I think 5 is pretty solid just because it gives us around a 2-hour show. And I think that's about the sweet spot we want to try and go for. But we're going to try and put some stuff together. It'll be put out there on the 20th, probably at the ideal time that encapsulates most people. So around 9:30, 10 p.m.
Are you gonna do a pre-show that's open to everybody for the first couple matches and then switch?
Yeah,
Okay.
We'll try and get right what I took last time. So we'll stream it this side of the paywall, probably one match, and then the other side of the paywall, the other matches.
Yeah.
And go from there. But for those people thanks for everybody that's channel members, and the feedback you guys are giving us is amazing. And we're really pleased you're enjoying the stuff there. So that's fantastic. And that you will know the Iron House 3, we nailed it. So we know we can do it now. We know we got it dialed in. James has done a lot of hard work on that, and we know we can pull it off. I don't know whether you guys actually caught the Iron House 3 card that we did that was from the house that evening. And it's pretty sharp. So we're going to go for the same suit warmed over with the dark card 2. Looking forward to it, guys. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anybody can nail it. If anybody can nail the 4.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I have one of the other guys, and now I just thought of another guy that really could be it, but I don't know.
I reckon I've got one guaranteed. I reckon I've got one.
I know there's a number of people that have been really, really confident that they've nailed someone.
Yeah. So names that I've heard, because I did a video yesterday, right? So a lot of people saying Wagner Bortolato. A lot of people were saying Jordan Sonev. I heard that one come up quite a bit after his performance in Canada.
He just got announced the match with Sanders.
Now that's the match we wanted to make in Arm Wars, the Sanders match. We were looking forward to. Well, John knows that we've tried to put that together a couple of times.
That
makes a great deal of sense.
A lot of people saying Alex Kurdecha. They want to see him come back because he was at Reality Check.
Alex also, just on another note, we're trying to do another card in August, and I would very much like Alex on that card in August as well. Very much like Alex on that card. You never know. I might even try and talk RVJ into coming over to it. You never know what might happen. Anything can happen. So not my monkeys, not my circus. That's my guy right there. Thanks for your super chat, mate. As I say, I'm sure a lot of people will be taking a pitch.
I think I've got 2 of them.
You reckon you got an entertaining show coming tonight, Jake?
Yeah.
And as I say, even if people guess them at this stage, and I'm not saying that some of the names that have been mentioned aren't right. Maybe they are. I don't know.
You realize now people are going to misunderstand you, and then they're going to have a set of 4 names, and then when it's not those 4 names, you're going to get blamed.
We've had them. People close.
Yes, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, Neil. Your wizardry over the arm wrestling community. The jig is up.
But it should be interesting. And the more the really interesting factor about this is we're trying to make this a situation where the matches are balanced.
Yeah.
In the Battleground.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be are these worthy opponents?
I think a couple of them are really dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, this is left arm.
You're bringing back Oleg for an old redo of the UAL.
I heard that name.
I am not prepared to confirm or deny who will be coming over, mate. At this stage, I say I ain't gonna answer. But all I can say is it makes it more human because Devon is more human on the left.
The question is going to be,
as we've seen,
does anybody have the sales tactics and the bullshit in the whatever it takes to get Travis back on the horse left-handed?
Hey, you never do know. We know we've got Alexei coming back. I'm really excited about that as well, because Alexei Vovoda is a friggin' athlete.
100%. But here's the problem with that dude. He's got so much pressure because he hit legendary status over 1 year.
Yeah.
He really was not really no other athlete in the sport hit a legendary status over 1 year. And he won that Zloty when I came into the sport, 2004.
Yeah.
I remember the year before, it was a big deal because Travis beat him at the 2003 WAF. And he put I think Igor put it out there, like, bring your friends. And it was a big hubbub on the Northeast message board, was like, bring your best Americans. And Matt Gerdner went, and Kevin Bongar went, and John Brzezinski went, and fucking, there was a Mike Solaris went. And it was a whole awesome ass kicking team. And Alexei won that tournament. But then after that, like, you know, I think he beat Michael in a super match, and there wasn't a whole lot. But the guy got
not long
status.
after he transitioned, didn't he? He went over to the bobsleigh.
Right. And I mean, he's without a doubt. Watch his videos, watch him move. He's a fucking athlete. But is he ever going to handle not being that number one guy? And will he do what it takes to be that number one guy?
That's the question.
I don't think you'll see either.
That's the question. What are his aspirations? What does he want to? What does he really want to do? How far does he really want to go? Is he looking to come back, crack a few big matches out? You know, the usual suspects. He never got to pull Vovoda. I want you, all that. You know, we never saw that match. Maybe we'll see that match. I don't know.
I think his build and his size is like a 250 guy, like a 242 guy. The super heavyweights are too unrestricted and too unbridled now. And if he's that vegan,
does he need to pull them guys, though, mate? Does he need to pull them? Because John is going to be at the lighter weight. Devon can go lighter weight. You know, there's other guys that are friggin' interesting. I mean, I
agree. It just matters is what is he going to want? What is he going to feel comfortable with? Where he literally got to be a god of Russia. And it's almost like once you already have the crown, all you can do is lose it.
What is he weighing right now? Does anybody know? Confirmed weight?
He's probably a 250 guy, probably 250.
Yeah, I think it was like 122 or something.
Oh, so he's big.
I think his match with John, though, is a 115 limit.
115 limit. Okay.
That's huge.
I think.
Okay. So, yeah.
So, knowing that this won't be popular probably, but knowing that Alexei got popped for steroid use or whatever use of whatever substance at the Olympics, do you think, like, I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff, but do you think that what he had to do to become the best bobsled guy to get the gold medal is on par with what he would have to do to push in arm wrestling, or is this a totally other level altogether?
I believe that there is a different approach entirely.
Gotcha.
Different approach completely.
I think they both have heavy steroids, but the athleticism and stuff and the protocol, I would say, is different.
Probably completely different.
And if you say you're him, say you're Alexei, who's a very, very intelligent, articulate lad. For when you meet Vovoda, you can't not love him. He's a genuinely lovely guy, very straight bloke, very open guy, and an absolute athlete. If you're him and you're looking in on arm wrestling now, and people are going to be going up to him and saying, mate, if you kick right now, sweet spot. You came back into this now, the legend from the Pulling John era, you come back in and get a match now against 4 guys, and you name those 4 guys. Does he really give a shit if he wins, loses, or draws? Does he just think, well, I can come in, I can make money, I can enjoy doing it? He always loved pulling, been in it from a kid. Why not?
Well, think about what happened when he lost to Tim.
I disagree. Yeah.
I mean, the difference is money, though. So back when he pulled Tim, the money's not as good.
Nothing like
as busy.
No. You guys are out of your fucking mind.
Channel. Yeah.
Mate, Robert, I know what he got paid. It wasn't.
The dude won a gold medal for Russia, and he had Putin fucking cheersing him. You think he cares about money? These dudes, the reason arm wrestling is so big over there as opposed to here is because they have pride. He can go down as a legend.
I don't disagree with that.
20 grand? What's it going to be worth?
I don't disagree with that. But pride, a lovely topping for pride, is easy money doing something you enjoy doing.
It's not going to be easy money pulling those guys you're pulling. See, this is a point I made about the sport becoming unbridled. back in the day when I came in the sport, the very best guys in the whole world were like 220 to 260 guys. Now they're 330 plus. It's a whole different game.
I'm not sure he's going to go that far, Rob. I'm not sure he's going to go that far, mate.
You know, the thing is, it's like with Foreman or any of these guys that don't know how to retire, don't retire, and they come back for that one fight, and they got remembered for that one fight.
Instead of who are the two guys that he's already come back and done that and lost to Bresnan, right? So
and
let's say he comes back.
2018.
Well, let's say he comes back and he cracks John. And let's say now he's preparing more diligently. And last time he didn't because he was distracted and he was doing other stuff. And the word on the street is that right now he's genuinely focused and he's training hard, right? So let's say he's going to come back. And let's say his focus is not just the matches. Let's say he just wants to do other stuff, social media stuff, whatever it may be. What a cracking platform this is to get notoriety right now. I don't know where his headspace is. And I agree with a lot of the points you're making there. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. What is his motivation, really? Is he going to train his ass off or not? Is he thinking, you know what, I'm going to take this one step at a time, and there's two guys that I'm going to utilize as a platform. The first one's John Brzenk, who, he's 60 years old there or thereabouts. I think I can probably get him. And the other guy has got to be Devon. I mean, if you're going to go Devon, so you're going to go John, you're going to go Devon. Is he looking?
He'd have a better crack, especially in Russia, at going against Dennis first.
No, mate. Dennis is a tank.
Well, I'm saying it's stylistically, it's probably a better match for him. And it's you're talking the two legends of Russia. The two. You're talking who's going to be the GOAT. And of course, is Dennis in his prime? Is Alexei in his prime? We're never going to fucking know. We remember those videos from almost 20 years ago or 15 years ago or so when Alexei was kind of on the downslope and he was training Dennis as the guy no one knew about. So that he was kind of like training him and bringing him in. So that's a great storyline. But is he going to be able to handle being the great Alexei Vovoda in a category that's not the absolute number one, that like everyone looks at him like he's Thor? You know, like, is he anything he does other than absolute number one in the world is a degradation of who people think he is. You got to remember the thing about legends is the further we get away from the time frame of it happening, that's where the legend happens. Is it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You ever meet old men that got stronger and stronger and stronger the more the years pass? I actually met a guy the other day. He said he used to put a horse on his shoulder and carry it up a ladder. I'm like, what fuck kind of ladder were you walking on? A horse, it would hold you and a horse. Secondly, what kind of horse was chill enough to be on your shoulder? Thirdly, why? Where were you bringing the horse to? What the fuck are you doing with a horse on the roof?
He had grass on the roof, mate. It's an eco house.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro? So it's kind of like one of those things. The further you get away from things, the bigger the legend gets. So I think, like, for a guy like Alexei, he gets to be the absolute Paul Bunyan of Russia. And all he can do by coming back, his grandkids, his great-grandkids, it's Alexei Vovoda. If he comes back, he cheapens it if he's not that same guy.
I don't know. With him having his last foray in the sport of arm wrestling being a loss to Bresnan, if he thinks he can commit hard enough for a short period of time, I think there's maybe a scenario where he comes out and thinks to himself, well, Tim cracked me. How bad can it be? It's just another ass kicking against another high-level opponent. He might think, well, if I lose to John, is it that bad? If I lose to Devon, is it that bad?
I mean, a lot.
It is that bad. He disappeared after it. He went away. He quit arm wrestling again because it was that bad.
How in was he though, Rob? Do you think? Really? He
was a vegetarian back then.
Is he not now?
Don't know. He doesn't look like one.
Who's profiling, Jake? Hey, can you tell me what people who like to give away their money for bad sales schemes look like? Because I got a few people I want to call. My next business needs an angel investor. What do dumb people with a lot of money look like?
Listen, you never know. I mean, Paul Italia's Cigars just come in with a super chat. He said, did he pick the right guy for his second return? That comes down to motivation. Big time.
Fucking right he did.
I mean, it's a great time to pull John Brzenk, isn't it? He's got the
Yeah,
name.
I mean,
He's got the
let's be
history, the
honest.
stories there.
John's
Why
got a name that's
wouldn't
going
you?
to carry him really well for a long time, but he's got some losses, and as I have a friend who always says, the undefeated champ is Father Time. Nobody beats him.
Nobody beats him. Undefeated.
Yeah, it's a bitch. It's the bitch. It's sad to watch, but John's still a fucking house. But I mean, yeah, it's a good time for Alexi. He's a young kid, and you can't get a better name of that caliber of a match. You know what I mean?
It's a great time to pull John. If you're Alexi, what better time than right now? My God.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Guys, I have to head out, but I do want to say one thing about Alexi versus John. Usually my rule is you just, it's not wise to go against John Brzenk, right? But usually I temper that, and I'm like, well, I think there might be a good match here, yada, yada. This time, John Brzenk is going to pull Alexi's pants down, paddle his behind, and tell everyone good day.
You know what? I kind of think that there might be some validity in that, because I think that people want to put too much into that pulling John versus Alexi. When you look at that pulling John, I don't think that John in pulling John would have won the 200-pound nationals here in the States.
No, mate, John, I can tell you right now, John at that time was not in any kind of condition.
Well, I do remember talking to him, and I think he had shoulder problems. This was pre-shoulder surgery. He looked really light. I mean, I think he was about 205 pounds.
Mate,
and for John,
94 kilos he actually weighed.
Right. So you're talking a guy that, like, okay.
So what's that? 200 and what is that?
7?
Somebody get
207. 95 is 209. So 204 would be 207.
Yeah. So he's like 207.
So the thing is, like you can't only look at the accolade of what the person did. You got to look at what happened with who they did it against. I always use the Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas analogy. It's like Buster Douglas beat up a Mike Tyson that wasn't the version that we all gauge. So it's like you don't want to take away from him. But then when you start looking at things a little more clearly, it's like there's a legend that's built, and clearly he's a great athlete, and clearly he's incredible. But like, we really don't know how incredible, because now you're basing it on beating John, but that John's certainly not the John that we saw in like 2006 in Las Vegas against Fareed.
No. Holy
It's certainly not the same dude. It's certainly not the same dude we saw pull Michael Todd or some of the other guys when he really was crisp and at a better form.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing about human on human, is like it's always fluctuating. But I think it's great for Alexi, but I don't know where he's got such a legend. It was going to take a really strong character to be able to not be the swinging dick in the room.
Yeah. I'm interested, mate. I'm genuinely interested. Look, we are going to jump off here in a minute. We got another super chat from Jake Arthur. He's just put, how's it going, gentlemen? This was an epic live. Jake, you're a machine. What a fixed lineup we have tonight. You're spoiling us. # forget about Ray. I can never forget about my boy Ray. Rolly Ray.
Do we forget about Blue? I don't know if I've been out of the loop.
Mate,
Don't
I'm
bring that up.
Commenting. I'm not commenting. I said my piece on the other day.
Oh, I wasn't here for that. I was just asking for a friend.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm trying to look. I'm out of that.
Don't go into that rabbit hole, Neil. Don't.
I ain't going there, dude.
Oh no! Genuinely, I didn't know. Apparently, when somebody says no comment, in my world of being a criminal, if you don't say no, it's always yes. So it's if you go and ask your wife, like, hey, I smelled some weird cologne in the room, and I didn't know if it was mine, but I'm thinking, are you banging the next door neighbor? If she goes, well, he came over and did some repairs, and his boots kind of came off. If she doesn't say no right away, it's a yes.
I went on Jake's show the other day. There's been a few comments going around which were absolute fucking nonsense. And I just basically went on there and just said that, and that's it, and I'm done, and it's done.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. I tried to do a little getaway with the kids, and I put the phone away, and it's a beautiful thing. I don't know if you guys ever do it, but it's called like internet, phone, technology detox. I keep my phone up my ass when I don't have my daughter with me because I panic and I'm worried and I never know what's going to happen. But when I get her and I got my whole unit with me, I can put my phone in a jar and leave it in the drawer and leave it for like 3, 4, 5 days. No problem. Don't even care. So try it. It's good. But the problem is you come back and you ask weird questions that make people feel like I'm trying to throw a bomb and I didn't even know.
No, mate. Hey, Rob, I know you're better than that, mate. I know you're better than that. 100%. I know that's not what you're about whatsoever. But no, what genuinely the reason I was going to jump off here, just we've been on for coming up, I think 2 hours, somewhere around there, which is a bit heavy. And I know that the mighty Jake is going on live now. If you are one of your guys, get over to Jake's channel, check it out. He's going to be picking up the baton and running forward. I want to say a massive thank you to Rob Bidgent for coming on the show tonight, to Paul Lim for coming on the show tonight, to the mighty Uncle John, and to Jake Ward, who is going live right now. Remember, get over there. If you're not subscribed to these guys' channels, please get over there. Give them a like, give them a sub, show these guys some love. Also to Lethal Arms Apparel, we had the mighty White Oak Paul in on earlier tonight. Get over there and sub to that guy. Also Rolly Ray Lipinge, Voice of Arm Wrestling, not on with us tonight. Not feeling too well is Ray, but all the best, Ray. Hope you're feeling good. And yeah, we will see you next week here on The Fix for show 149, approaching the 150. Bloody hell, nearly 150 shows. Jake, have a great show tonight, mate. I'll be going into the shower and listening in. We'll see if anybody guesses the 3 guys that are going to be facing Devon Larratt in the Dark Card 2.
Is he doing the 25-hour thing now, or is this just like a post thing?
Did it, mate?
I've already done it.
Mm.
Yeah. I did message Heather to get you guys on, but Heather was working, and then you guys were away.
Apologies. We were in the mountains and we got it late. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like too little, too late, brother. But that's really cool. Good for you, buddy.
No, because you and Heather were awesome last time. It was hilarious. It was just quickly Neil, before you wrap up. One of my highlights was Rob and Heather was on, because Rob, you know what he's like. You get some RVJ-isms and he does it. We all love it. But then when you get the wife's reaction live, the eye rolls, the hand on the shoulder and things like that. Oh, Rob, and things like that. That was my best, because like we're all like, Rob, give us more RVJ-isms, more. But then when you had Heather, that for me, that was the best.
Mate, me and Rob have had some fun. Go on out, have a beer with Rob after WAL or after Arm Wars Vegas. Oh, funny.
Hey, before you kick off, Jake, are you going to be in Istanbul?
No. I won't be in Istanbul.
Why?
Don't think I'm sorry.
It's going to be the biggest event in the arm wrestling history. This one. Now, I'm not saying it can't get bigger as it goes, but this is going to be the biggest one.
Yeah,
it's going to be a biggie.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be invited.
Are you throwing in the towel and going vegan?
No.
When's the next King of the Table though, Jake? You'll be at that, I'm sure, won't you? Be over at the King of the Table gig.
They're going to announce everything. They're just waiting for East versus West to finish.
Okay, fair enough.
So you'll get the next 48 hours after East versus West. I think you'll get the date and the main event. Matt Rhodes was saying during the 25-hour stream.
Hopefully, it's not the 20th of May. Hopefully, it's not 20th of May. But yeah, that's when we're intending to go dark card on that ass. Guys, thank you very much, everybody that's taken the time to tune in tonight. Thanks for all the guys that have super chatted. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, checking out the show. I think we had like around 350 people in at one point. Really nice for you all to tune in and check it out. Couple of weeks, what are we, like 3 weeks from East versus West? It's right around the corner now.
Yeah, 2 weeks till Monster Factory, 3 weeks till
2 weeks to Monster Factory, 3 weeks to East versus West, probably 5 weeks to Dark Card 2.
Oh man, this spring summer cat crossovers will be popping.
Absolutely immoral. Remember, if you're not already subbed to the channel, guys, to Supernatural Strength, please give us a sub, give us a like, oh my God, Silky Wilky's just come pinging in. Silky Wilky with a super chat. But thanks, Neil. Thanks to RBJ for our dissertation into arm wrestling. Heuristic inquiry. Good God, it's late at night for me to read that song.
Oh,
Who do you think I am? Ryan and Ryan's
the,
dad. I ain't got no 156 IQ in this.
Yeah, that came from Uncle John. He was whipping out all of his psychology books.
Oh, you're joking.
Trying to guess what.
Well, you're on a 25-hour feed.
Yeah. And we're trying to guess what heuristic inquiry was meaning because we were just having a laugh at arm wrestlers and all that. So that's where that comes from.
Guys, thank you everybody for tuning in and checking it out. Remember, Jake's just going on. Kick it. Are you going on like right now, mate, or are you going on in a bit?
Nah, I'll go as soon as we get off the call here and we announce that Rob Vigent will be on the show next week. He doesn't know it, but I'm just taking the opportunity.
Bro, I got a lot of free time lately because if you don't know about my new training plan, it's called I don't train. I train really hard and then I rest a lot. So I'm cool like that.
Yeah, no, I'll
get
still
fucking
with you.
Cock Diesel, all right.
There it is. It's where the work happens. Check it out.
That's the guy who rests
get into
6 days
Giga
a
Chad
week.
shortly. Clash with Zurab coming up. Tabarisi and Vigent Jr. coming up. A couple of weeks' time, it's on. We also
I'm a shutout too. You believe that shit?
What are you, mate?
I'm a shutout.
Are you really?
My butt's a little hurt about it. I'll be honest.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna be a little salty about that.
Tremendous. What about Doug? Is Doug a shutout?
Yeah, I don't even think he's on the Arm Wars or Arm Bets, but I think the universal opinion is he's a shutout, and Paul's a shutout.
Paul's a shutout. Shit.
Well, there's 3 of us going that are 3 shutouts.
What about Cody Merritt?
I don't know.
I'll quickly look it up now. I'll tell you.
Hey, because I'll tell you, Cody's got a tough one. Cody needs to elucidate.
Yeah, that fucking guy is like the fuck. Like he needs a Nancy Kerrigan. Like they need to get like Tonya Harding in there with the thing on his elbow, that Muratolov or some shit.
Mate,
and fuck.
Alajan's a friggin'.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
No, those guys aren't on there. Only your match is Rob. Oh, Paul and Sasho shutout stake. Rob and Zurab shutout stake. They've got Devon, Kitagali.
I gotta admit,
what's Kitagali and Irakli?
I just quickly shutout stake.
For whom?
Irakli's just got to get 1 pin.
Holy shit.
That's bad operation.
Dave and Rivas is a shutout stake.
For what, Dave?
So Rivas
Dave
is just going to get 1 pin.
People think Zurab's people think Dave's going to win, surely.
Yeah. So Rivas just needs 1 pin.
I was going to say, for sake, if Dave Chaper's a shutout, good luck. So Cody's not on there.
No.
And Irakli, nobody's.
Irakli's a shutout. I feel better about that because Irakli's a shutout now.
Wow.
Because I would say that's a very close match. I think stylistically, like Ongarbayev is, but I think that Irakli is a stronger human being. Maybe not in the wrist.
Irakli's got a shot.
Polished.
He's got a shot. He's got a shot, no doubt about
that. To think that in a round that he can't pull one off, that you're going to put a money and shut him out? That's crazy, Cal.
For me, I'm not a gambling man, but East versus West leans more towards WAF. So, mate, shutout stakes, fouls are getting thrown. You know what I mean? There's fouls going, especially when people are in a losing position, they just lift up. And there's a restart, people can lose a round in a foul, and you still make money. You know what I mean?
That's the one
Rob
I didn't
gets
expect.
The jump on Zurab, and then Zurab does a couple of elbow fouls. Oh, round 1 goes to Rob. Made money.
Bloody hell. Fair enough. We'll see, won't we? We will see. But yeah, I'm very surprised. Of all the matches on there, Irakli, I did not think would be a shutout. I thought some people had taken.
I actually thought that in a lot of ways he'd be a favorite because he's such a He's got a bigger social media presence, and being Levon's boy, he gets a lot of hype, and he does a lot of the lifts and curls and all that shit. So he gets a lot of social media hype. And I mean,
I think they're just going off the difficulty of beating John. They both.
So here's one for you then, Jake. While you're on there, Adam Borshinsky and Basho Saganashvili. What's the score?
Nah, that's not on there. So if I click on all competitors, they've got Ron Barth and Pavlo. And Ron, that's a shutout stake. Ron only needs to win one round.
Jesus.
They got Devon and Gennady, which is a shutout stake. Gennady only needs one. Sasho and Paul, shutout stake.
Jesus.
Rob and Zurab, shutout stake. Vitali and Tobias is not a shutout stake.
Which that's probably the most worthy of all of them for a shutout stake. Even though Tobias is good.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I think Tobias got a shot.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have a shot. It comes across weird. I'm saying if you're going to pick the one most probable for a shutout, that's up there.
I could put it this way.
It's not saying that it's a shutout worthy. I'm saying if you're going to pick the most probable.
How knowing what you know, being in the game, would you be shocked if Tobias pulled that off? No. I would not be shocked.
No, because the way you said it is like with you knowing what you know, like this game is built on upsets and people rising, someone getting comfortable in a spot, someone being super hungry for that spot.
Exactly that.
Flowing.
So what I said earlier with the Battleground, you get the guy that nobody knows and you're not sure where he's at. And he comes in there breathing fire and wants it bad that day.
Right.
Who knows?
That's the ebb and flow. My father used to always tell me about sports, and he would say, Robbie, there's something nobody talks about when they talk about statistics. Human element. Did you ever watch that movie Casino?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they talk about why that guy was such a good handicapper is because he knew if the guy was on coke or had his girlfriend pregnant or he was all screwed up because of the way the balls bounce off of certain floors. He knew about the human element and certain things that no one knew about. And in arm wrestling, there's a ton of that. There's a ton of guys that are going through shit or they're comfortable in a spot and there's a guy that's hungry. Like we're humans. We're not just like picking up weights. So when you've got one human against another, it's like if this guy's coming in at a good level and this guy's coming in at a bad level, they could meet somewhere in the middle and it has a very skewed version of what their whole history has been. Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Where they're going to meet that day. So I would be crazy shocked if Tobias beat Larratt, but I'm saying going into it on paper, Larratt's the favorite.
I agree with that.
But that's paper. What's that paper worth? Wipe your ass with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Start a fire with it.
I've got Vitali at 60-40. I went on with Engen the other day and I gave Vitali as the favorite. But I do believe Tobias is an evolving force. He's young, he's very dynamic, and he's very, very, very hungry. And he hits aggressively, and he's got a great hand and wrist. So you're
from a great, that's the start, right? The hand and wrist, and he's from a great nation that's producing a lot of big structured, big boned, big ass fucking freakazoid people. So I mean, how far he'll take it is going to be, we're going to unwrap that. This is how it unfolds.
Based on what we've just gone through there, when Jake's looked at that, there is the chance that there's some colossal fucking upsets in the mind of the betting public at least.
Bro. I gotta say it's going to be
you might
one
see
really good upset.
Banging upsets where people are like, is everybody going to be based on a shutout? Is everybody going to, if Tobias cracks Vitali, is everybody going to be like, no way? Everybody's shocked and they blows up the internet.
That's what I love about arm wrestling, and everyone just needs to adapt that kind of mentality. Like back when Dave and Vitali was announced for King and Table 5, everyone was like, boring. Why is that a main event? Vitali's going to beat Dave. What a waste of time. Everyone was the same. Oh, Levon's pulling Hermes. He's just going to smash him. Boring. What a waste of time. But that were two incredible matches. I love it. I'll sit there and I'll do my predictions. But a part of me loves being wrong. Like I literally knocked over my camera watching John Brzezinski and Irakli because I was like, Irakli's good, but he's not good. John's going to be 3-0. But then like when Irakli was like baiting him, impressive, like I literally knocked everything over because it was so exciting. I think people just need to go, okay, you can think that, Zurab will beat Rob 3-0 or Rob will beat Zurab 3-0, but just don't write it off or speak negative about it because I use Buster Douglas analogy in a different way, Rob. I'm looking for that Buster Douglas. I'm looking, for someone to come in and just go whack.
It's that night.
To Levan, to Devon, to Rob Vision.
It's only Buster Douglas because that's the picture that they've painted of him as well. You got to think like that's ignorance. Like I tell people, like that guy's in that spot because he was also the number 2 guy in the world that fought for the last decade to beat all the other guys around him. So his only other option was the championship shot. So while your eyes are all pointed at the champion, glamorizing him and putting him on a pedestal and saying how amazing he is, you don't realize this motherfucker's just as good. And then when he knocks him out, you go, what a shock. Why is it so shocking?
Well, the thing is
shocking because the picture you painted.
Yeah, exactly that. The thing is, you've got a field of frigging killers that are assembled for this thing, and I think sometimes there's a disconnect between, on any Sunday, you catch this guy wrong, you'll get fucked. If the guy hits you right, there can be damage done. And Tobias is a great example of that because he is venom. The lad he's fearless. He's going to hit like an absolute lunatic. Of course, he's the underdog, but don't write him off. Weird stuff happens. Be interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, because like now, like it's funny how short memories we have because everyone like you couldn't book Levan in a match after King of the Table when he beat Devon.
Mate, I've been there.
Stupid, mate. You could name anyone. No, we need to line up the top 10 guys in a row, and he pulls them one after another. Now, remember, Levan pinned Hermes the first 4 rounds. Now, anyone can beat Levan. Like any of the top 5 guys are beating Levan, where a couple of months prior, we needed him to pull Morozov, Devon, Rob, Neil, my daughter, all one by one, and Levan will still smoke him. Now everyone's like, Levan's got no endurance. Morozov kills him. There's no, it's...
That's the cannibalistic world we're in, buddy. Everybody, there's a new Levan every couple years. So it was Levan, it was Dennis, it was John, it was Vovoda, it was Gary Goodridge, it was Cleve. There's always a Levan, and they're insurmountable. And then when it happens, it's like everyone's shock and awe. And then let's gravitate. Did you ever see? You got a kid? Did you watch the Minions movie?
Yeah, of course I did.
So in the beginning of the movie, there's these little things looking for a new boss, and they go gravitate towards like a little fish. And then when that fish gets eaten by a fish, they gravitate towards that fish. And then that fish swims over, and then a bigger fish comes over, and they keep following it to the big boss. And they keep following each fish that eats the fish. That's basically what we're doing on the internet, is where are the fucking minions?
It's absolute class. Crazy times, guy. Oh, we just had another... Fucking hell. Every time I got to wrap it up, there's one. What's this? Randy Lahey. Mate, thanks for... I hope I didn't murder that name. Oh, no, it's pronounced Lahey or Lahey. Sorry, mate, if I murdered your name.
Lahey, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It's put, Jake, you shut your mouth when you're talking to RVJ.
He always comes on my show. He's great, Randy. He always says that all the time. You shut your mouth, Jake, when you're talking to me.
How is Randy's last name pronounced?
I don't know. I don't know him. He just tells me.
All right, I thought you didn't. Sorry,
if it's Lahey, I believe it's Lahey.
It's Lahey. So I'm going with Lahey, and it's his fault if I screwed it up.
Hey, I grew up with a bunch of Irish people where I come from, and they always said Lahey. If not, then I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Randy, thanks for your super chat, mate. Look, before anybody else dives in with a super chat, we're going to get off here. Thanks for everybody checking it out. We hope you and your families are well. We'll see you back on the fix next Sunday night. Get over Aussie's going on soon. Lads, biggity bong.
Peace, guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. I'll speak to you guys